Hey, brave souls. Welcome back to Her Brave Story podcast. I am at the Crystal Castle today. So wherever you are today, I hope that you will join me on YouTube because you will get to see the incredible space that I'm in. And this is my first experiment with doing a walking podcast. This podcast today is really about the power of coming together. I'd like to acknowledge the Arakwal people of the Bundjalung Nation, traditional custodians of the land that I am recording on today, and I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. I am so grateful to be recording on these sacred lands, and I am so grateful to you for joining in today because Her Brave Story podcast is a space where we have conversations that spark courage, ignite possibility, and celebrate the brave in every woman. This podcast is hosted by myself, Chrystal Dawn, and I am a woman who is out in the world right now. I am at the Crystal Castle today. So wherever you are today, I hope that you will join me on YouTube because you will get to see the incredible space that I'm in. And this is my first experiment with doing a walking podcast. So if you can't hear me, or if some of the audio sounds a bit different, please let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. Here we are. There's so much goodness in here. And I'm going to take you on a walk because walking is so meditative. This podcast today is really going to be about starting over and rebuilding and about the power of coming together. As some of you know, if you're following along on social media, it was my son's birthday party this week. So I am so excited. It was a beautiful day. It was also a friend's birthday and there was an amazing women's circle for her. So I'm going to be talking about both and the power of our collective, of us coming together and what it means to start over, like what it really means to rebuild your life. If you are interested in these topics and you want to hang tight, come join me on YouTube right now. If you are listening, I am so glad that you are here. If you are tuning in, I'm so glad you're here. Wherever you are, do come check out YouTube because you're going to get a lush experience. Check this out. This is a huge bamboo walkway here. I love this. We're about to embark on a journey to take a walk. And you know what this reminds me of? This particular, if you're not tuning on YouTube, you can see, but if you're not, there's these giant bamboo plants and they're around a walkway that goes down to a statue. And it makes me think of that we all have to enter alone, ultimately, into the fire, into the initiations that we all go through. Whether it's different stages of life or it's different stages of development in your own personal development. So we're going to go through it together. We're going to embark on this journey together because the mosquitoes are real, right? Now, something that became really evident to me for my son's birthday was, number one, we can't do everything alone. We need help. We need help. Like, it's too much for a birthday party anyway. And in life, we need help. We need help. And part of the women-centered work that I do, that I practice, Dr. Claire Zama is my mentor, who I love, and Dr. Jean Houston, both incredible women. Do find their work. I'll put links in the show notes for their work. But talk extensively about women-centered coaching, but women's work in particular, and how to do our greatest work in the world, we need one another. We need one another to transform. We need one another to self-actualize. We need one another to turn towards our blind spots. And we need one another to hug and to laugh with and to know that we're not alone on this journey, even though we are alone on some of the journeys inward. The support to keep journeying inward, to keep doing the work is so important. And the birthday party is a metaphor for that too. We need one another to journey with on these big events in our life called life. We go into the dojo practicing this life thing, right? Birthday party. I needed help, and I was so grateful that I was in a place to ask for help. And I want to talk about rebuilding, because rebuilding is something that we're all doing to some level, but especially those of us who've gone through major life transitions, including divorce or separation, including experiencing a death in the family, or losing your job, or having to start over in some way. There are so many ways that we're rebuilding and starting over. And in that process, in divorce, they say you lose up to 20% of your friend group when you get divorced, because people go either way, right? In my experience, it was even more than that. It was almost like 75% of my friend group was gone. Let's take a beat for that. And at the same time, like, it was too hard for some people. Some people, I moved to a different area. We couldn't connect. Some people didn't have children. So many things, right? So starting over can be lonely. It can be incredibly lonely. You're already stripping back all the layers of who you are, all the layers of what's going on in your life up until now. And then on top of stripping back all those layers, you don't have your people. Like, who are your people now? Hands up if you have ever felt like that. I'm just feeling the hands going up as I'm walking through this incredible place called the Chrystal Castle here on the Northern Rivers of New South Wales, Australia. This is a massive statue behind me of Vishnu and Garuda. Vishnu is riding on the shoulders of Garuda. You can kind of see here, right? And these are Hindu gods, and that Vishnu preserves and protects. He embodies strength, energy, and valor and generosity. Vishnu is one of the 3 most important Hindu gods. And then Garuda, love this, Garuda represents courage and the man's and woman's highest or higher spiritual aspirations. Garuda is the bird god and appears in both Hindu and Buddhist mythology. So Garuda represents courage. I mean, there's a lot more to this, but there they are. There's the back of them, Garuda and Vishnu. You want to take one more look? I love this. So the embodiment, the power of courage. And, so many of these Hindu gods and goddesses, they're a mix of both, or they have really yang, like masculine, or really female, feminine. We need both and. Both and. Holding both and is something that I talk about, because we do. It's not just gray or black and white. It's both and everything else. So as we rebuild our lives, as the people are stripped away from us in our life, we start to see who we are and who we're becoming. And that process can be really scary alone. That's why having a collective, a group of people who are helping you, or even one person who's on the same path, your transformation is going to be more rapid and more lasting. This is something that's incredibly powerful about women coming together in particular to help one another actualize and transform, is because we need one another. We're not meant to do this alone in a vacuum. We're actually dependent on the relational space between us, the space between one another that informs us of our own becoming, and it informs the world around us. We're informed by others in the world around us. That's part of why I started Her Brave Story Collective, which is a group. It's not actually on Facebook either. So if you're not using Facebook, don't worry about it. You can come over. There's a link in the show notes here. And it's for women. I am in the gardens, so there are other people here. It's for women like you and I, misfits, change makers, women who are in the process of becoming, women who are entrepreneurs and artists, women who walk barefoot on the earth, or maybe even wear Crocs like I'm wearing today. Oh my gosh. Yep. That's it. I have Crocs on, everyone. They are pink. And people, women who want to connect and have these deeper conversations. It's a space to have deeper conversations. You can check out the link. I'd love you to join us there. It's free. And there's also a 5-day Your Next Brave Step starter kit there. Once you join the group, that unlocks starting over. Having people around you who love and care about you, who see you, who amplify you. This is so incredibly important. And I remember I was going through one of the hardest times of my life, and a friend who was a friend from before, we were sitting down, we were having a discussion. There was some hoo-hoo between us, a little bit of, in Hawaii we say hoo-hoo when there's a bit of an argument, going down. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oops. Okay, we're back. We're actually still on. The phone flipped off here for a second. And she said to me, that my life was too hard for her. My life was too hard for her. Like, she couldn't be friends with me anymore because my life was too hard. Whew. I remember sitting there across from her, and we had been friends for a long time. We'd traveled together. We'd done a lot together. And she said, we were never really that close, and your life's just too hard right now. I felt it to the core of my being, the real brutal honesty of that. And I actually look back, I thank this person in my heart because she was honest. She was right. She came clean and said, I can't do it. Your life is too hard for me. And she never really felt like we were that great of friends. It's amazing what comes out when you're already vulnerable, when you're already ready to do the work, when you are ready to transform. The hardest stuff will come up. It's not going to be easy. You're not just going to be like, yeah, I'm getting a divorce and it's all easy peasy, or I'm moving on, or I'm changing my job, or, I've decided to do this new thing. I'm becoming who I'm meant to be. You get thrown all the lessons, all the veils get ripped off you. It's like you go through a storm. And I love Madeline Eliza talks about this in one of her podcasts, which I highly recommend you go check out. And Maddie was a guest here very recently on the show, talking about feminine magnetism. And she talks about when this energy of transformation comes through, it can be like a storm. It can be like a cyclone that just rips through and takes everything out. And you are leveled, like everything comes down. You're not left with like cozy blankets anymore. You're left with the work, right? The work to look at yourself, the work to look at your life and the life that you've built up until now. When my friend says this to me, I remember it was like a dagger through my heart. And at the same time, I knew she was right. My life wasn't easy. Maybe we weren't that close of friends. Maybe I never really had closer friends until afterwards, till after the storm, right? Who comes to rebuild your house after the storm? It's not always the people you think it's going to be. Who brings you food when you're sick? Who calls you just to call and say hello and doesn't need something? Who are those people? We need those people in our life. And also, there's a time when I felt like everyone had been stripped back. Like there was no one who I felt like I could really turn to or call on. And that doesn't mean I didn't have really good friends. I was also in a stage, and this can happen when we're rebuilding too. I was also in a stage where I could not reach out and have the same friends and the same people who weren't going through the same things. Have you ever felt like that? Like, yeah, that person's right down the street and they're such a good person to you. Yet there's just no connection around that one thing that you really need help on right now. And that's another part of community and collective, and a reason to come over to Her Brave Story Collective. because we need people who are going through the same things, who have the same kind of ideas, and who are processing along the same lines as us. How beautiful is this garden, right? We're going to go back up to where all the crystals are. There's a lot of people here too, so I was kind of giving people space to move out of the garden. This is the hinterland in the Byron Bay region. Oh my gosh. If you're not on YouTube, you got to come over to YouTube and find Chrystal Dawn Jameson and Her Brave Story podcast. If you're on YouTube, thanks so much for joining. This podcast today is about rebuilding and starting over, and about birthday parties and women's circles and Her Brave Story Collective. It's really about us and about what we can do together, because we're so much stronger and better together. Up here, there's this giant, they call it the treasure chest. It's like a geode. Hello. We're sharing this amazing space with people from all over the world, which is incredible. I'm so happy to be here and have this opportunity. And I'm so happy to be here with you today, as you have made Her Brave Story podcast possible. You're helping to realize a dream. You're the fuel. You are deeply appreciated and valued. And this relative space between us is valued. Okay, let's go look at the geode. So as you strip everything away, then I made one friend who got me, who had a child the same age as me. Oh, these are fossils. How cool are those? I mean, that's like the land of the dinosaurs, really, over here. Okay, we're going to go to the geode. She really, really got me. We had a child the same age, and we just connected right away. And we're going through so many of the same things, and we really helped one another move through that space. That liminal space, too. That space of becoming, when everything else drops away. You don't even know who you are yet. Right? At the liminal space. This is a space used in coaching, used in transformational work, to describe that space between. Maybe you're in that space between right now, and all of us at some point are in the space between. Here is this giant geode. Okay, I feel like, I know that we say Superman got out of there, but some goddess got out of here. You know, she just landed and she's among us somewhere. Keep a lookout. And that relationship fully helped me ground into who I am now and reach out and become. And I started gathering more friends and more people. And then you go through an experience again. I went through another transition when my son started family daycare. And then when he started kindergarten. And now I'm in first grade, and there's still, it's ongoing. The transformations are ongoing. And his birthday party this year, I wanted to share, was like so beautiful, because during COVID, one, everybody's in lockdown, but two, we didn't really have that many friends around us. Honestly, it was that time, that liminal space time. And I remember feeling a little bit sad about that. And this year we had so many beautiful people around us. It was so lovely. Look at this, another hidden pathway. It was so, so lovely. Oh my gosh, here we are on the garden path. It was so beautiful. Oh, to be among people who just really care about us. Oh my goodness, how do we get this lighting right? That's like, I'm like hyper exposed here. Here we go. And I was standing there giving the birthday speech, and I looked around and my eyes were like full of tears of joy. Like literally, I was feeling so much joy, because these are our people. This is the tribe we've assembled. These people love and care about us. They want to see us thriving. They show up, help cut the cake, help do the dishes, ask how we are. I ride share. We help each other with our kids. We share a lot of conversations about parenting and personal development and personal growth. The women that are in my tribe right now, my personal tribe and collective. I just want to send a huge shout out. You've been in incredible support for me, and I'm so grateful, and I couldn't have done any of this without you. Here we go. There she is, Lakshmi. Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of fortune, prosperity, and wisdom. We're going to keep moving here because there are other people on the grounds, as I said, and everybody wants to have a look at everything here, which is amazing, and there are children on the grounds here. By the way, how are you liking this? Do you like this walking podcast? I'm doing it on my phone because there wasn't enough bandwidth to do it on the computer, but I kind of thought that was a good thing. How beautiful is this? Oh my goodness. Stunning. There's the big crystals. There they are. Let's get a closer look. So we need community. We also need to give, not need to, but something that's really helped me is just radical self-compassion. When my friend, who I really love and care about, told me that my life was too hard and it was like a dagger through the throat, it was also like a reminder, yeah, you know what? It is hard. It is hard. She was speaking the truth. It's hard. It's hard to be a single mom. It was hard to be alone. It was hard to have my ex-husband treat me the way he did and have all that trauma from that relationship and nobody know about it, and him go on and act like nothing, like, yeah, another podcast, emotional violence. It's another podcast. But what I will say is that so much happens behind closed doors now between partners, and that in a village, people would have helped each other more and stood out and say, hey, you can't treat her that way. This isn't okay. These kind of things are not okay. The chiefs, the queens, they would have come and helped. People had different ways of healing things in community. And even in Hawaii, I feel like people kind of heal things differently. And here, where there's just like the tribalist people, many places around the world, I'm also part of that collective. These behaviors that men in particular have, leaving their families, abandoning their responsibilities, just, the emotional violence again, the quiet things that people don't even talk about or know about, right? The financial violence, the terrorizing of the children, the things that women can't even talk about because of fear for their safety. These things are real. These things have been a real part of my own life. And that's a huge part of Her Brave Story podcast too, is giving women voice to share the things that are actually happening. These things are happening. These things are real. Yeah, they're really too hard for some people. But at the same time, we're not here to talk about all the trauma. We're here to talk about how we have healed from that. And I'm standing by this enormous giant crystal, and I feel giant inside. I feel like, Tony Robbins says, unleash the giant within. I feel like I am unleashing the giant within every single day. And I love being here with you. And, I also want to say I've been a little bit nervous to do a podcast. It's been like a week, and I wanted to do them every week, and then I started falling behind. I'm going to sit down. And then I was like, I can't do it. You know what? I was like, no, you can do it. Yes, you can. Get out there, talk about what's actually going on in your life, and talk about what matters to you. And what matters to me is women starting over, is women reclaiming their power, is women stepping into greatness, is women coming together in collective. Yes, Her Brave Story Collective, our free group where you can join anytime. There's a link here. If you are on School, SKOOL, you can search for us. Her Brave Story Collective with Chrystal Dawn Jameson. That is me. I'm your host. And if you're not, you can come over to Her Brave Story podcast and check us out. I'm sitting down now underneath the foot of these enormous crystals. Again, you got to come over to YouTube to find us and see all of this. So the birthday party goes amazing, and I'm so happy with the turnout and with everything that happens. There's a couple little hiccups as everything goes, and I'm reminded how far I've come, and I'm reminded of the people who are around me, the people I'm going to get up because people want to take photos. The people, old and new. There were some old friends there too. I'm so grateful. Who are standing around us, who are gathering around us, right? We gather around each other and we help each other. And, oh, look, there's even beautiful gardens here, food gardens, but there they are. You can see the crystals a bit better now. I mean, this place is epic. What a healing place. This is why I've actually come here today too, because there were also hard bits, the hard bits of, you know, the secondary stuff that goes on. And this podcast is not about that today. That might be another podcast. There'd be so many podcasts. See, here's the thing. We can do hard things. I can hit play and not have a total plan. You can let me know how it goes. Did you like this? What was this like for you? Do you want to have more walking podcasts where you're coming with me? Walking is a form of meditation too. Get to unpack things. Unpack what's going on. The next day, there was a women's circle. Oh, well, it's my friend Jess, beautiful Jess. I love her so much. And it was her birthday, and she had a women's circle there where we just poured out into her and told her all the things we love about her. It was facilitated by another friend who's also amazing. And we got to just share to her, pour into her. And I thought, this is the best gift. You know, women, we don't need more things. We also got a group gift, which is a spa package, which is awesome. That's another great idea. My son had that as well, a group gift instead of lots of small gifts, or, you know, which is great too. And last year I did that as well. I said, if anybody wants to put in $5 towards an electric drum kit, this is what he wants. And many people did. And some people would choose to bring their own things, and that's really cool too. But I thought I'd mention that, like having opportunities for group things is, I think we all want to be a part of the group. Deep down, we're all craving acceptance. We all want to be a part of the group. We all want to be a part of the tribe. And when we're thrown out or we're rejected, it is so bloody painful. Oh my goodness. Unlike when I dropped the phone. So her blessing way it reminded me of my blessing way, because that was the last time I had women pour into me and say good things about me and say, this is what I see for you. And that made me think about this project that I'm working on that I'd really love. I'm calling in the right people for this, because this whole starting over, rebuilding, this is also, we're rebuilding our lives. We're starting over as entrepreneurs. We're starting over as business people. We're starting over as women in the world who desire impact. I know you're that kind of person because you're here. You desire impact beyond making money, beyond your own self-actualization, which look, both things are super powerful, but you also want to have impact. You want to give your gifts abundantly and be recognized for those gifts, and you deserve that. You deserve that. And women-centered coaching is all about uncovering the hidden barriers that keep us stuck and hitting the same glass ceiling all the time, because our barriers are different than men's barriers. And this is why we need the collective. This is why we need other women to help us see our blind spots. And we all have them. We all have them. So when we're in circle, this really helps, because we need circle. We need to be able to share, and just share without being fixed, and share and be heard and be seen in wherever we're at. We also are developing deep listening during those times. At the same time, we also need, and at separate times even, 2 separate areas of development, we also require a time to reflect and have it be reflected. Like sharing our business ideas and having them be reflected back, or sharing our story and hearing back from other people what they're hearing. This is a skill called amplification, and the skill of feedback, right? These are skills. They're excellent skills for relationships too. So one of my visions that I have is starting this collective, and from the collective, we can gather together and form a really powerful group moving forward, using some of these practices in a safe container. If you are interested in that, please join the collective and then put your hand up and say, yeah, you know, that transformational group you're talking about, I'm in. I want to be a part of that. Again, transformation does not happen in a vacuum. Look where I am now. This is a transformative space. I am at the Chrystal Castle. We'll put you in the grass here. Here we go. And those are like, they would weigh like 20 tons or something like that. It's crazy. I'm looking away because I'm figuring out where the camera is. That's it there. But when I look here, I can't see it anyway. This is all the learning process. I hope you join me in the grass on YouTube, because then you'll get to see the massive crystals and the space behind me. That's where all the stuff is. But they're starting up the lawnmower or something down there now. What I want to leave you with today, brave souls, is a question. Yes, one brave question for today. As the lawnmower goes past, it's not even a lawnmower, it's a little truck. One brave question. Who is your tribe? Who are your people? And if it's not people, who is your go-to person? Who is your safe person to share this experience with, to share this journey that you're on with? Do you have a safe person? Someone you know you can pour your heart out to and tell everything to that's going on, that's really happening, how you really are. And this person will hold it gently, will listen deeply, will refrain from reflecting unless you ask for it, will hold that space and allow you to unpack whatever it is you need to unpack, all the messy, hard stuff, and won't just bring you their problems all the time without taking time to listen to you and find out how you really are. Like, they care. They're not just calling you on days they need something. Who's that safe person for you? How's your tribe going? If you have a safe person and a person you really love and respect and who's helping you, then you are luckier than most. Please let that person know how much you love them. And you can even send them this podcast and say, look, I thought of you because you know what? You're that person for me. And I share this brave question with you because anyone who's starting over is going to need support. It will make everything so much more fun. I think back and I laugh about these times that I had with my friend. We had the kids together from age around one to age 4, approximately there. And just so many adventures. So many adventures. Us sitting in the prams instead of the kids sitting in the prams because we were so tired. The kids just covered in mud and bubbles and sand and eating sand and all the rest of it. And we're just laughing together and crying together, sharing all the tears and the hard stuff. Like, she even had to get help. You know, we were both at the Women's Resource Center. We were both getting help for these big things. And we got to share that journey, and she's absolutely thriving. She actually bought her first home about a year and a half ago. And we're both in a totally different space now. And our tribe's growing. We have a lot of other people in both of our lives now. I share this story with you today because where you are now is not where you're going to be. Where I am now is not where I'm always going to be. I'm sitting here recording on my phone, walking around with you because I want to have these experiences in my life. I want to just try it. And I want to make new friends, and I want to extend Her Brave Story Collective out to you right now. And maybe you've heard something in here that struck a point in your heart, in your story, and you might just find yourself needing a safe person or safe people to unpack things with and to grow with. We're not talking about unpacking big trauma here either. Big trauma needs safer, smaller containers. I want that to be clear. We're talking about unpacking your big dreams, Like, what is your big dream? My friend's big dream was owning the house, right? Buying the house. She had nothing. She was in a safe house, right? So much can change in a few years with the right people, with the right mindset, with vision and with goals and with desires, with opening up your heart to your wildest desires. With people who get you, who want to see that, who see that already for you. They don't need evidence. They see it. They see it because they see you. I'm going to come over to this crystal. Put my hand on it. As we roll out and you have this brave question and you're thinking about your safe person, I'm going to encourage you to, once again, take a moment for yourself today, brave soul. You're worth it. Who's your safe person? Are you going through a massive transition? Is this something you can share with someone else? Because every time you share Her Brave Story podcast, you are helping to amplify the voices of women rising, because women's stories matter. Head over to Her Brave Story podcast for all the show notes for today, even the notes for this, and the link to Her Brave Story Collective, our free group, not on Facebook, where you can get tools, resources, maybe even find your safe person, and your tribe. I'm so grateful that you spent today with me right now, this time, this precious time. I highly value you. And I'm so excited to see how you grow and move in the world. I'd love to hear what this was like for you and what you'd like to hear more of, who you'd like to hear more of. And if you'd like to submit your story, please do. I have a submissions space on herbravestorypodcast.com. I'm going to be right here waiting for you next time you hit play with a smile and your dose of Her Brave Story. Until then, thrive on, brave souls. Woo.